guys, my name's Italy and welcome to Read Aloud. And we're on episode 3. I'm reading every page count, the page count for the amount of books, the amount of text that was from my group chat. If you haven't watched part 1 and part 2, go and watch, like episode 1 and episode 2, go and watch that now, so you sort of know what's going on. Last week we ended with 9 books read overall and 3,349 pages read, and I read typically from Saturday night, after night to Saturday morning. So yeah, it's now Saturday afternoon. That's why I'm starting this video. But I have a bit of a update because I went shopping, so I'm gonna do a book haul, and I'm changing something about the rules. So I'll do the same. I'm changing the rules first. Normally, I typically read work off my physical TBR, library book, physical book off my TBR. But I'm going to read all my library books first. Well, after this book I'm reading outside. So I'm going to finish that one, and then I'm going to start to reading just library books to get them down, because I have like 15 out. So I'm going to try and get through all of them first before then hitting my physical TBR, because I've got over 100 books on my physical TBR that I want to get to, and it's like every time I go out I buy new books that I want to read, but I can't because I have a system going in and out. And I want to get all my library books read and part on my head that I'm the way I have a shower. The book I'm reading is Silent Guide by Nina Kane. I have just bought it today, so it goes into this. I went to the works and I got 6 books from the works. 3 of which they were all in there, 3 for £7.50. So this was it. I'm on page, I don't know what page I'm on, 65. I haven't added this yet to how many pages left. So before I add it to that, it says I'm on page 35. I'm not on page 36. So I've got 769 pages left to read, but I do have quite a lot of text messages in the group chat that I haven't added to the tally, so it's going to go up. But I'm going to read books first before I get it down. But I know my next book is going to be Rose Madder by Stephen King, and this is like 500 pages. I think it's like 400, I don't know. No, 500. It's like near enough 600 pages. So that will get the page count down a lot, which I'm happy about. I think it's definitely just under 900 pages. 595, I think, from what I can tell. So that is gonna definitely take me down the page count. So yeah, so that will get me down, and then last week starts on John the Beast, which is 9 books read and 3,394 pages last week that I read. I did beat week 1 stats, which was 2,249, I think. No, it was 2,200 and something. So I'm going to beat 3,349. I went up like 1,100 pages this week. So let's look at the books that I got other than. So I've got Stand Up Guy by Nina Kane. I'm obviously on page 65, but I did 30 pages to page count. So in the end, when I have 130 pages. This is like 200 pages long. 300 pages long. So that will get me down to like 400 pages to read. I've got Project Hail Mary by Anywhere. Finally, this was from W.H. Smith's, but it's not W.H. Smith's, is it? It's like T.G. Jones. And that was that. I was looking for the rest of the books in the Inheritance Game series, and I couldn't find them at all. I found The Brothers Hawthorne, which I've already read. No, the Hawthorne Legacy, not the Brothers, but they didn't have book 3, which is the Final Gambit. But then they had the Brothers Hawthorne, I think that's what it's called. They had the 4th book, but I didn't want to buy a book called 2 and 4. I've read 2 already from my library book in this challenge, which is in part 2, I think. I did enjoy it, and I'm going to buy it as a trophy. But I don't want to buy the second book and then the fourth book without the third, because it's just going to be sitting on my shelf. It's just going to be sitting there for what book four is going to be sitting there until I can find book three. So that's why I didn't buy it. And they weren't in the works either when I went in. I would have gone to Waterstones, but I didn't get a chance to go to Waterstones. And like the works I went into was in a different place to where I went to T.T. Jones, and I probably would have looked in the next time if there's one where I got this book from, but I didn't get a chance to. So let's go get the next book. I bought quite a few books because I bought 6 in the £3.60 in the 3 for £7, so £7.50 books, and then I bought 3 from 2 different stops. After that, we got Next to You by Hannah Money Young. I don't think I got. No, I don't. I have Next to You by Hannah Money Young. I do have the other one. Out on a Limb. I think it's called Out on a Limb. So these are the only 2, but I heard I was missing. Well, Out in the Woods, I haven't got that. But these are the only 2 in, like, I think this series that I was missing. So I obviously picked these 2 up. They did have Out on a Limb, but in that, but I don't got it. I don't think I need a copy. I then brought Inside the Mind of Myra Hindley. I have got 4 of these books. I've got 1 that I haven't read, so this will be 2 books that I haven't read yet. And I'm excited for it because I love the series, and this book I think has only just come out, so I picked it up because, as you know, I'm trying to read some more books in the non-fiction section, so I'm excited about this. Whilst I was at the works, I brought Catherine the Princess of Wales, The Biography by Robert Jobson. I love anything about the royals. I love learning about the royals. If you can't tell from the library book I picked up from episode 2. And then, whilst I was there, I also found Diana, William and Harry, and I've got Short, I Love That and Jaws by James Patterson and Chris Mooney. I love Princess Diana. From what I've learned about the woman, she has a special in her heart. And then what was up? So I'm gonna call it that. I got the paperback version of Atmosphere because I haven't read it yet. I read The 6 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Enjoyed it, and this is one of the ones that I have been looking out for. They did have the hardback version, but I don't enjoy hardbacks as much. But like, if I've read them all already in the paperback version, I will probably in a hardback just to collect them. So I found about this because this was published, I think, last year, and obviously haven't read it yet. And I'm absolutely excited because I heard nothing but good things about it, and I can't wait to learn more about it. And then whilst I was at Morrison's, I bought this. Turns out I have it in the library book version as well that I took up today. I took it up Thursday. That's in episode 2. So I'm gonna put the library book back into my part of library books and take back Diary episode 2, and then put this into place. Well, not put it into place. I'm going to put it in the TBR pile because instead of reading TBR book, library book, TBR book, library book, I'm just going to read library books and then get through the amount of physical books I got after I read this. So I'm going to go straight into Rose Madder after I read Stand Up Guy, because it's going to actually get this down, get the page count down, because I've got like 769 pages, well 739 pages once I put, I think it'll be 739 pages, but I have a code for 100 messages, because I've been texting the group chat. I know where I am with the page count, like where I am, for when I need to put the page counts into there. So for every page that I put onto the Towery after this, I will read 10 pages also. So if I get 10, I would Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I was going to do that, but then I was like, this is going to be actually really hard for me to do because of the fact that I will be in the mines. It's quite a lot if I do this. But if I get like 39 pages, I'll read 40 pages and I'll go into the minus. Like, if it doesn't end in a 0, I will read to the next page. So if I had 32, I read 30 pages and then I'd read 40 pages and then put it as -8. And then the next text will go towards getting me out of the minus. Mainly because I don't like having odd numbers that aren't 0 at the end. So that's what I do. So I've got 739 pages. Depends on how many pages Rose Madder is. As I said, I think it's 593. I will have like that random 3 pages. So, and 6 pages actually. And then that meant I would have to read 10 pages and go to -4. And then the next page count, I know I won't get to the end of this with the page count, but I know, yeah. So these are all the books that I got from the library. That's the new rule count. And I'm excited to see if I can beat last week's page count and books read. So week 1 was 2,271 pages read, 7 books, 2,271 pages read, 7 books read, 1 DNF. And it's absolutely crazy that I have actually managed to pretty much almost double it. So I'll see you in a bit for the next update. So I finished Stand Up Guy. It was an alright book. I think I gave it either 3 or 4 stars. It was fun, I just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. So I've got about 469 pages left to read, but I still haven't added every single page that I need to read onto the page count. So I'm going to read Rose Madder. This will probably, when I read all the pages, I'll probably not be near the end, which is exciting for me because I'll probably have about that much pages left, maybe a bit less, or maybe a bit more. So I've picked my next 2 books that I'm going to read after this because I like to have a book that I'm reading and then know what my next 2 books are. They're both Stephen King books. I know I said I wouldn't do TBR library book, but I wanted to get this off the pile of books that I need to read, particularly because of how small it is. And the piles are of books of this size. So you can just imagine the sort of problems I was having with this. So I decided I was going to jump straight into this after Rose Madder, get it off my TBR and put it straight onto my shelving unit, my book unit. So, and then the next one is going to be 1922 by Stephen King. This isn't a very long book. It's probably 200 pages, if that. Yeah, it's 150 pages. So, something like that anyway. So I'm going to go straight into this after I've finished Rose Madder and The Green Mile, particularly because I want to. But then I know the next 2 books I'm going to read after these 2. And they're both hardbacks from the library. We got Shirley Ball's Best Foot Forward. That's going to be after 1922. I'm just trying to get every single book off my all my library books off. Yeah, so then I have less library books to read, and I can go straight into my library book, my physical TBR. And then we've got One Night in Paris. It's going to go straight on after I read Best Foot Forward. So yeah, let's go and read and hopefully I get this book done today. I've read 315 pages because this book is 315 pages long. I've read one book, so I'm getting through this challenge quite easy today, but hopefully I'll be able to get through this book quite as fast as I did Stand Up Guy. I read the rest, like 200 pages in one sitting, mainly because I wanted to finish it up, because I didn't want to have it on. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna go and read Rose Murder and I'll get back to you. So I finished reading this. I gave it 4 stars overall, so that takes me up to 2 books read, 910 pages read overall for the challenge, and I have 2 pages in the thing I need to read of the Green Mile. So I'm actually excited, but I still have quite a lot of messages I haven't put into the thing. So I did go to like minus 126, I think, and then I've been texting to the thing, which got me down to 2 pages that I needed to read, and I actually cannot wait to read the Green Mile. And then obviously next book is going to be 1912, which is like, I think, like 150 pages. Yeah, 154 pages. Can't wait. And then after that we've got Best Foot Forward by Shirley Bowles, and I absolutely cannot wait. And then that will be 2 books down from my library books. Bit of an update. I've finished the first book in this, which is The Two Dead Girls. I've given it 4 stars overall. I am counting every book in this, so the next is 6 books. So that would take me up to 8 for the week so far. And I've got to beat, I think, 9 books. Yeah, 9. So I've got to beat 9 books. So I'll read 10 books this week. So that means I'll have 2 books to read with adding the others 5 to the thing. I have read, it was 70 pages. It was a fun time. I enjoyed it. It was 4 stars overall. I'm now on minus 7 pages. I'm constantly adding new pages to the page count every single time, and then I'm reading it. So I'm like, say if like, as I said earlier, if it's like 13, I will read 20 pages and we'll go into the minus, and then the text will make up for that. So the next book in this is the Mouse on the Mile. So that will be fun. And then I think it's like 430 pages overall. It's a fun time so far. So I'm gonna get to the rest of these books. I'll come back when I've read The Mouse on the Mile, and I'll tell you how many pages I've read and what mine is. So yeah, I'm gonna be reading. So I finished The Mouse on the Mile. I gave it 4 stars overall. So these books are actually really short. So I am now on, what's this book called? Coffee Summer. Coffee's Hands. Absolutely cannot wait. So I'm trying to beat 9 books read this week. So I'm trying to read 10 books this week. So this will actually help me go on to that goal, and I'm also trying to beat 3,349 pages. So far I am on 910. I haven't counted these pages yet. This will hopefully get me over the threshold of 1,000 pages. I know 1922 won't help me get over the threshold, but I do have quite a lot of long books on my TBR and my family library, so therefore it will actually help me quite a lot. And I do have quite a lot of pages I do need to read overall, so therefore I'm quite literally gonna get over that threshold quite easily. I can quite easily see myself reading 15 books this week, hopefully. So I'm on the 3rd book in this, and I am on my 7 pages. I'm still adding pages into the page, into the thing. I'm on page 141, then 140. I absolutely cannot wait to continue reading this. So yeah, let's go. I've got 3 books of this, 2 books of this read, 4 more to go. Let's go. So I finished Coffee's Hands, gave it 3 stars. It was probably the worst one of these that I've read. And then, so I'm on to book 4 of this. And then, what is it called? I forgot what it's called. The Bad Death. I read with the, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm on page 210, read 5 books in this challenge so far this week. So I'm on book 4. I've got 50 pages left to read for the page count. That's not all of the pages that I do have to read, but that's what I've got left in the thing. I did go to all the way to like 100, and then I ended up going up to all the way to like 120. That's why I'm managing to get so far into this. So I'm just under 200 pages away from the end, just over 200. I've got 220 pages left of this book, like overall of this. 3 books to go. If you include book 4, and I absolutely cannot wait to finish this because I don't know how long I've had this in the pile of books that I need to read. But yeah, let's go and finish it. So I've finished the next 2 books that I had in this. They're both 4 stars. So I've given them both 4 stars. I've got 8 books read for this challenge, and I've got to page 4 of 1922. I'm about to read the next 10 pages. This is not going to take me very long because as I said, it's like 154 pages. So it's not going to take me an absolute while to finish this book, but that'll take me up to 9 books read for this challenge. And then I'm going to go straight into Shirley Bass's Best Foot Forward, and then One Night in Paris. As you know, I like to have 2 books that I'm going to read, so I'm going to Best Foot Forward and One Night in Paris next, and then I'm going to continue reading this. I can't tell what it's going to be at the minute because it seems a bit flat, but I am only 4 pages in, so I'm going to go and continue reading it. So an update, I finished this, gave it 5 stars, absolutely loved it. That took my page count to 1,494 pages read, and 9 books read. And then I went and picked up Best Foot Forward, finished it. Yes, I finished it in one sitting. When I say one sitting, I literally sat here and read it in one sitting. 4 stars, and that takes me up to 1,800 pages for this challenge this week read, and then 10 books read. So I've reached the books read goal, but then I need to reach my books, my pages overall. So I'm going to go into One Night in Paris, and as you know, I like to have 2 books waiting to be read that I know I'm going to read. We've got Charles III. It's like 600 pages. So this will, well, 500 actually. Or maybe 400 because there's a lot of indexes at the back of the book. So this will probably take me a lot of pages. It's 167 pages. So this will actually be quite a lot. And then my next one is Your Every Move by Sam Blake. It looks big because it's largely printed. I cannot wait for this, and I'm going to probably go straight into it after. Well, I'm going to go straight into it after I've read One Night in Paris and then Charles the Third, not the second. So I'm absolutely excited to read these 2 books, all 3 books. I've got 110 pages left to read, but I haven't added all the pages left into the page count. So I'm going to go and start to read this, and I'll give you an update later on. Bye. I come bearing bad news. I DNF this at page 141 pages. It was not for me. That's why I had to DNF it. I got 141 pages and I was like, I'm done. I am absolutely done. I'd much rather spend my time on books that I actually enjoy rather than books I don't like. So that's another one of my library books done. So I have about 1,138 pages left. There are still more pages that I need to add, I haven't had them all in yet. I'm still on Friday's texts, I'm pretty sure. I think it's Saturday actually. Let me have a look. Yeah, I am on Saturday's pages. So I am 2 days behind adding pages to the thing, so it's going to get quite high, the page count. So I'm at 1,941 pages. As I said in the previous clip, I have to be 3,349 pages. So I think I can do that. So my next book is going to be Charles III, because I'm in my royal era. I love me a bit of royals, so I know quite a lot about them, and I cannot wait to get into this to see more about his life, even though I don't like the guy. So, and then as you know, I like to have 2 books, like, and I'm going to read next. Your Every Move by Sam Blake is going to be after that. And then I'm going to pick up Dance to Death by Shirley Balls after Your Every Move. So I've read her autobiography, and I thought this looked quite interesting. So I decided I'm going to pick it up from the library. So I absolutely cannot wait to see what happens in this. Knowing me, I will have quite a lot of pages to read, and I'll get through this realistically today, hopefully. I do have the page count for it, and then I probably have the page count for this. This is like 400 pages. This is also 400 pages. So realistically, I have enough pages to finish these 2, and hopefully get a decent amount of the way through this. So I realised that I've also got 2 more Stephen King books in my library pile. I completely forgot I took out extra Stephen King books as well. So I'm going to get to them as soon as I've done these 2. Well, as soon as I can, because the list of library books that I have to read is like, I think, 10. I'm getting through my library books as quickly as I possibly can. But obviously I can only read as fast as I can without skimming. So I'm going to go straight into Charles III, get to the end of it, then I can hopefully take my library book count lower. So yeah, I'll update you when I'm done. So a bit of an update on how I'm doing with this. I am on page 67. I haven't got very far because I did go out yesterday and I didn't want to bring this thick book but when I went out, because I went out at like 1 p.m. and I didn't get back until like 10 p.m. till 11 p.m. at night, so I didn't want to take this with me. I have 1,121 pages left to read, but that is not all of the messages that I've got to read, because I'm still on Saturday's messages. We're now on Tuesday, so I'm going to try and get through all 1,000 pages that I need to read. Hopefully that will get me through this book and then these 2 books realistically before tomorrow, because I'm going back to the library to take some more books back, like obviously of the ones that I've read. And good news, I've ordered 2 of the Inheritance Game series, so book 2 and 3. So the Brothers Hawthorne, even though I've read, well, the second book, even though, as you know, I've already read that one, and then the third one, but I read the second one from the library and I really want my own copy of the book, so I've ordered that. But then my dad is going to buy me, but I'm also going to give him the money back because he's got Prime, and to be fair, I want next day delivery of these books. But I know that the ones that I've ordered are going to come like by the 20th of this month. It's the 14th at the minute, so or the 18th or the 19th, something like that. So then hopefully when I order, so then I'm going to get the 5th one, no, was it the 4th one? 4th one. I can't order the same forward as backwards off Amazon yet because it says pre-order now, so I'll pre-order that next month. And then I'm so excited for this. Jennifer Lynn Barnes has announced she's writing book 5 in the Natural. There's a 5th book in the Natural series, and I absolutely can't wait. And I think that will be another one of the books that I pre-order next week, next month, to come in November. I think that's when the release date is. So I'm obviously going to order 2 books a month, hopefully, and then pre-order quite a few books I do want to have on my physical books. So I'm going to order quite a lot of books throughout the rest of the year. Because there's obviously so many books that I want to read and that I've read for the library that I've absolutely loved, but I want to get my hands on the copies. Like with the Stephen King books I read, I am 100% going to go and then buy every single Stephen King book I've read. Same with the Richard Osman books. I want them all. I've only got book 1 and book 2 in the Thursday Murder Club series. And then I've got the first book in his new series that he's writing. So I'm hopefully going to order the rest of his fiction books. I'm also hopefully going to order the next books that I'm missing from the Vampire Diaries series, because I think I've got 1 and 2. I don't know if I've got 3, but I know I haven't got 4. So I'm going to order them to get here. And there are a few series that I am missing, like the first book of, that I am going to order to be brought to my house, like obviously delivered to the house. I absolutely cannot wait to get my hands on the new book in the Natural series, because I ate that series up. I bought the first one, the Naturals, early last year, like May time of 2025. That's how early we're talking. May of 2025 is when I ordered the first book, and that's when I had the first book in that series and I read it. And I really wanted to read the next books, but I was on holiday when I read the Naturals books, the first one, and there was no Waterstones near me. So I had to wait until I got back off holiday and I was in my next town over, where I had to wait until I went to a place with a Waterstones to have a look to see if there was the next 3 books. And there was, and I got them and I read them literally by September of 2025, because I absolutely ate that series up. And I remember me and my nan got into a bit of a heated debate about that she wanted me to do something, but I couldn't do that one thing because I needed to finish the series. Literally I had 10 to 15 pages left of the last book, and I was like, Nan, you're going to have to wait, because I need to get to the end of this series before yet. So hopefully I'm going to order minimum of 2 books every month from Amazon, mainly because of the fact that I want to read so many books, and there's only so many hours in a day, as we all know. I do want to get into Freida McFadden's backlog. I've read quite a few of her books already from my Kindle, and I've also read Deadbeat and Dinner Party, which are her 2 newest books. So I am in the little reading her backlog, but that was through my Kindle, and I found an amazing author who I absolutely adore now, which is Kylie Kent. I read one of her newest series, and I absolutely ate that shit up. Ate it up. So I want to order, this is on my Kindle, and I want to order, so I'm going to buy Jennifer Lynn Barnes' backlog first, and then get Kylie Kent's books. And I know that she's doing a spin-off series, the favourite series of mine by her that I've read, which is called Owning Vegas, and she's going to do the kids of that series. It's second gen to that series, and I absolutely cannot wait because I absolutely love them. But I am in the middle of reading her backlog on my Kindle, so I absolutely cannot get into them books yet until I've read her backlog. I've already read Owning Vegas and Ignited by her, them 2 series, and I've read the spin-off, which literally came out at the end of Feb. Didn't realise it came out at the end of Feb, because I think I read Owning the first one in the Owning Vegas series, absolutely loved it, and then it was oh, do you want to read this book in this based on Emmanuel and someone else? And I was absolutely, download it onto my Kindle. Didn't realise it had literally come out 3 to 4 days before I read it. And I was absolutely loved it. I ate that shit up. So I'm going to try and order all of her backlog, every single one of her books as well, but I know she's got quite a few coming out, and I know that she is still writing, which I absolutely am excited about. because I am Carly Kent's biggest fan right now. An update, gave this 2 stars. Reddit gave 2 stars. It was not a fun read to me, so it's done, and I can move on to the next book. That means I have read 2,408 pages for this week. I have 721 pages left to read from what I put in. That's not all that I have to read, because I'm obviously still on Saturday's pages, because I'm trying to get the number of pages down from over 1,000 to 0. Hopefully I can, and then that means I'm going straight into You're Every Move by Sam Blake. And then, as you know, I like 2 books that now I'm going to read. Obviously, as you know, it's going to be Dance to the Deaf is going to be the next book that I'm going to read for after You're Every Move. And then the one I do want to read next is after Dance to Death is A Neighbour's Guide to Murder. I have heard nothing about this book, but it does seem quite interesting to read. So I'm going to put it straight onto the pile, straight after Dance to Death. But then I do want to read Young Prince Philip, which is going to be straight after A Neighbour's Guide to Murder. So hopefully I'm able to use the next 2 or 3 books to get the page count that I've got already down to 0, and then I'm going to try and get the rest of the page count down, because it's probably going to be over 2,000 pages. So, and then that means I will have a lot of pages to read for this challenge, and it will, I'm just under 1,000 pages away from beating last week's goal. I've already beat the page count, the amount of books read for that challenge, because I'm on 11, and I think I read 9 last week. So I'm going to read this, and then hopefully it gets me one step closer to beating last week's page count. I absolutely cannot wait, so let's go. Quick update on how I'm doing. I devoured the last 200 pages of this in one sitting. Gave it 5 stars overall. I absolutely loved it, and that meant I would go into Dance to Death, and my next 2 books would be A Neighbour's Guide to Murder and Young Prince Philip, as you probably know already because I told you this. But the thing is, I was on a book high. Finished it last night at 2 in the morning. Finished it. 2 stars. Didn't like it. I think I gave it was either 2 or 3 stars. Didn't like it. Wasn't for me. I still read it through, and that means I've read. And then I went straight into A Neighbour's Guide to Murder, and that meant my next 2 books would be Young Prince Philip, as you obviously know, and The Regulators by Stephen King when he was using the pseudonym Richard Bachman. I'm only 153 pages into this book, because I haven't finished it, obviously. So I'm probably going to finish this today. I'm going to the library to take a few of the books back, including these 2. That means I've read 13 books so far this week, and we're only on Wednesday. And that is the equivalent to 3,312. When I finish this book, I will definitely be over the threshold of the minimum amount of pages that I want to read for the week, to then get me above last week's goal numbers. I have 129 pages in the thing that I need to read. As I will say again, it's not all of the pages I need to read, because I think still on Saturday. I'm either on Saturday or Sunday. I'm getting closer. No, I'm still on Saturday, actually. I'm still on Saturday. There's messages. I'm getting through it, as you can tell, considering I've read 2 books last night. And I'm on the 3rd. I've got quite a few library books that I do need to finish. So hopefully I'll be able to get through the rest of them before next week. So I'm going to go back into reading this, get to the end, well, I've got 129 pages, but that's all I've added. And then I'll obviously read Young Prince Philip, because I absolutely cannot wait. So, this is not all of the library books that I have to read, but these are the ones I want to get straight into after these books. And I don't know which order I'm going to get into them, but the last one, the one you least suspect, got another Stephen King book, Just After Sunset, The Girl Who Came Home, and The After Party. These are the books that I want to get straight into once reading them 3 books. I don't know in what order, as I said, I don't know what order I'll be going into these books, but I just want to get straight into these. I'll probably go straight into the one you least suspect, because I'm on a thriller high at the moment. A suspense thriller at the high, considering that this one was actually so good. With Your Every Move, I was thinking about it last night before I went to bed. This was at like 10 p.m. last night. I was thinking about Your Every Move last night, as I just said. And I couldn't get to sleep. I had about 200 pages left. I could not stop thinking about this book. I literally could not stop thinking about it. So I picked it up just to probably read about 100 pages, just to satisfy like I need to know what happened at the end. And then basically my whole body was like, no, 100 pages is not enough. Read till the end. This actually come out this year, and it was already in my library, and we're like 4 months into the year. Quite frankly, I went straight onto Amazon. I haven't ordered it, but it's in my basket. So I'm going to buy a physical copy, and I'm most likely going to order Sam Blake's Backlog, because what the fuck do you mean? She's like the adult equivalent of Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And as you know, I absolutely love that woman. I love Jennifer Lynn Barnes with everything in me. So, last night, like I told you yesterday that I had ordered probably about the Brothers Hawthorne, well, the second book in the series, and then the third one for myself. And then I ordered some more via my dad, and like obviously gave him the money back for it. But I realised like really late that I didn't order the 4th one, so I had ordered the 5th one, and then the one in like the spin-off series, but not the 4th one. So I was like, shit, have to order this book, and I ordered it late last night. It probably won't come until the 29th. Between the 29th and the 1st. But the 5th and the spin-off one should be here by tomorrow, the latest. I think that's the same with the 2nd and the 3rd. So I might push forward the 3rd one to after I finish all these library books. Obviously, when it gets delivered, I'll push it forward to read straight after these library books, because I want to know what happens, and I absolutely cannot wait to find out what happens. But then I'm going to have to wait to read the 5th one, and then the spin-off series book. So I do have both of them being delivered today, hopefully. So I probably should have got my dad to order the 2nd and the 3rd, and then I'll order the next 3, if you know what I mean, rather than me order the first 3 and then him order the next 2. But you know, we move, and this is what I have to deal with now. But I absolutely cannot wait to see how it ends, because, well, not how it ends, but you know what I mean. And I'm going to pre-order the next one, the 5th book in the Natural series that I said yesterday. Well, when I can order it, I'll order it tomorrow. Well, order it when I can. I pre-order it. Mainly because of the fact that I cannot wait to see what happens. I will be pissed off if it doesn't follow the same group from the first 4, but am I still going to read it regardless? Yes. I am going to read everything by Jennifer Lynn Barnes that I can get my hands on. And like, when I say everything, I mean I will be ordering every single book that this woman has ever written. Mainly because of the fact that I absolutely love her writing. And I want to find out how her books finish. Like, I know she's got like at least 10 out. Well, it's gonna be more than 10, isn't it? So I am actually gonna try and read every single book by her that I can get my hands on, and I will obviously read them because I absolutely cannot wait. So I've got the Hawthorne Legacy coming, and then the Hawthorne Legacy and the Final Gambit. I forgot to order The Brothers Hawthorne. I ordered that last night, as I said, like really late last night. And then I've got The Greatest Gambit coming, A Sailor's Games Untold. I couldn't order the same backward as forward for some unknown reason. I could not get that to come out. Couldn't get that to come to my house. As I can see from what I'm looking at, Jennifer Lynn Barnes probably comes out with 2 books a year. 2 books a year. Maybe 1 to 2, depending on what she's got going on. She did say that she can write 1 to 2 books a year, so it does explain why she has so many books out. I'm obviously going to be ordering like every book over here. I read the library book that I like. I will be ordering as like a trophy just to say, hey, look at me, I read this book and I absolutely loved it. And then it will obviously go onto my red shelves. There are quite a lot of books that I'm going to need to buy that I liked, that I read via the library or via Kindle Unlimited. Mainly because of the fact that I have quite a lot of books on my Kindle, well, on the Kindle app. And I'm going to want to buy every single one that I gave 3 stars and above. And there's a lot that I read. I probably read like over 300 books on my Kindle Unlimited. So, am I going to really enjoy the amount of money I'm going to spend getting every single book that I've read? No. But am I going to have a lot of books in the end? Yes. Well, I don't think the number's 300. I think it's more 200 than 300, actually. Yeah, more 100 than 300. And I am literally in the middle of so many series that I haven't got the full amount of books for. So then I'm going to have to buy all of that, and then I'm going to have to decide in what order do I order them books. And then there's authors' backlists that I do want to read that I haven't got. Yeah, so it's going to take me an absolute while to get through every single book that I do want to read and I do want to have as a trophy. Hey guys, I've got a quick update. Don't mind where I'm sitting. I haven't read any more of my book because I went to the library this morning, as I told you, and I brought a few books out with me because I went to the library and I had 2 holds that was already done. I got Love in Auschwitz, a true story. That one looks actually quite interesting for me. I'll do this bag first, then I'll do my big bag. The Spirit Guide. Haven't heard anything about this. And the cover just really interested me, so I just picked it up and yeah. And then I also got one of my holds was Sir Lewis, the definitive biography. I love me some F1, so it made sense. I only picked up. That's why I picked up a Lewis F1 book. And then my second one that was there, which is my only other hold, was Nobody's Girl, a memoir of surviving abuse and fighting for justice by Virginia You Free. That was one of the Epstein survivors, and I want to read her story. We got The Wooden Library, and that's Baghdad done. I haven't heard anything about most of these. I've got quite a few Stephen King books. The Stand. I haven't got this one, and it is one that I do want to read. We've also got The Gunslinger, The Dark Tower, which is book 1 in this series. Absolutely cannot wait to read that one because I've heard good things. We've also got Apt Pupil. I don't know how you pronounce that name. We've got that one. Skeleton Crew by Stephen King as well. Next two, these aren't by Stephen King. We got Meghan, obviously about Prince Meghan Markle, the fake wife. Haven't heard any, as I said before, I haven't heard anything about these books, so I know, except some of the Stephen King ones. The Murder Game. I actually don't know if this is part of a series or not, but you know, hey ho. Just gonna go read it. Then we've also got a few more books. Murder at the Mill. These books just looked interesting to me, that's why I picked them up. Not because of any particular reason, but because they actually looked quite good. Got Christine by Stephen King. There was quite a few Stephen King books at the library that I hadn't got, so I was like, might as well pick it up. We've got Mark Watson, Mortification. I think I watched him on Taskmaster, loved him in that, so of course I wanted to pick it up. The House of Water. No, as I previously said, I know nothing about majority of these books when I took them out. 2 left. So we've got Chris McCausland, Keep Laughing, the autobiography. I only know him from him when I took him dancing like last year or the year before. I don't know when he won it, but I know he won it. And then last one is another Stephen King book, Different Seasons. I'm probably going to take the Stephen King books with me, mainly because of the fact that I want to read all the Stephen King books that I can physically get my hands on. So I'm just going to make these jump the queue, like this one, and then Christine jump the queue. I'm not going to take, actually, I might just take The Stand because of how thick it is, and it's going to take me an absolute while to get through this. So it's probably going to be, okay, yeah, I was right, it's like over 1,000 pages. So this is going to be the one I take instead of the others, mainly because of the fact that it's absolutely massive and I want to get through it quick. A bit of an update because I haven't updated in a while. So I've got quite a few books to talk to you about. I did have one other DNF, which was A Neighbour's Guide to Murder. Or DNF'd it because I wasn't enjoying it as much as I thought I would have. I finished Young Prince Philip, gave it 5 stars overall. I absolutely loved it. It was a fun read. I then read A Girl Who Came Home. It was an alright read. I gave it 3 stars overall. It was an alright read, as I stated. I had fun whilst reading it, but it wasn't the best read that I had for this challenge. So that's why it got 3 stars. And then I jumped into The Regulators by Stephen King because I am in my Stephen King era. Finished it, gave it 5 stars overall. Absolutely loved it. It was a fun read. So that's another Stephen King book read. I'm going to end the video here, mainly because of the fact that I've got stuff to do this afternoon and I won't be able to read. But I am in the middle of it. I know Boston King, but I know it's not a library book. But I did find my copy. I'm like 180 pages in, something like that. Like 100. Well, I think it's 167 pages into the book, and it's like 1,000 pages. So this is going to count for episode 4 of the challenge. But I did get some mail. So I finally got my own copy of The Final Gambit, the Hawthorne Legacy. Finally got my own copy of it. So that's going to go straight onto my shelves. But then I got 3 more that I haven't read. I am waiting for the 4th one, which is the 4th book in this series. and obviously one or second. So I can't read these two yet, but I can read this one until I've got the fourth one. So I've got The Final Gambit, which is the third book in the Inheritance game series. I know it's a different cover to this, but I think this is like the original cover to it. This is book 3, and I'm probably going to go straight into it after I read it, because I absolutely cannot wait for this. We got Games Untold, which is book 5 in the series. I absolutely forgot to order book 4. So book 4 is coming within the next 2 weeks. So we've got Games Untold, and then we've got the Grandest Game, which is the first book in the spin-off series, and I absolutely cannot wait to read this. When I do get to it. Yeah, so these are the 4 books I had delivered, which is like getting me closer to having every single book in the Inheritance Game series. So we got book 2, 3, 5, and then the first book in the spin-off series. And I absolutely can't wait to get into these. I am probably going to order the next one in this series when it comes out. I'm obviously going to do that. Book 4 should be coming in obviously in 2 weeks, as I said, and I'm going to get into the Inheritance and Forest Hawthorne, no, the Final Gambit, once I finish it. But it is like 1,000 pages long, so it's absolutely going to be a while. It's like, yeah, look how thick it is. It's going to be a while. So that's the end of the week. We got 4,556 pages read overall, 16 books read, and 2 DNFs, which is obviously more than we had last week, which is good. And I'll see you in episode